than your currency. Splurging millions, buying houses like Monopoly. Fucking 9 to 5, man, the money is a joke to me. Buying cryptocurrency, my money.
Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of No BS with Birchy podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Birch, and this is a show unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now exiting the matrix and waking up to motherfucking reality. And this week we really are, right? You never know what you're going to be getting from Birchy, and today is going to be a really cracker because we're going to be talking about ignorance is not so bliss. Today, sometimes we'll talk about property stuff, sometimes we'll talk about other stuff, and today it's not going to be about property. It could relate into property, but most importantly, it's about our personal liberty and freedom, which is being removed from us on a daily basis. And I saw this happening many, many years ago. And who would have thought, like when I first started the business, B.Invested, I thought to myself, I want to help people live life on their terms. I want people having freedom and the ability to do what they want, when they want, how they want. My slogan used to be, tell your boss where to go, used to poke our fingers up and, not like the system. But over the years, people's lives have been becoming progressively worse and worse. And, we need to, I say quite often, like I have people calling me up in all different fashion, parts of the world, and they're like, Nathan, help me out. I need you to give me some advice on this. And sometimes I feel like, we're at a war, right? We're at a war that's spiritual warfare, mental warfare, and, it's an attack on our consciousness to be able to, control us, suppress us, and keep us trapped, where the human should be free and we should be able to do what we want, when we want, how we want. So, obviously I talk about, property investing and how that gives you the ability to remove yourself from your job, from the system. But there's much more to it, and our lives are constantly being, we're being hidden, kept in the dark, and fed full of shit. We're like little mushrooms, right? So, lots of news articles out there at the moment, lots of interesting news coming through. Lots of brainwashing, lots of propaganda. I'm going to start with something totally random. People go, I was at some mate's place the other day, and we're talking about the alleged crisis that we've got, the medical issues that we see. And for those of you watching this, you can see the actions that I'm taking, those sorts of things that people are taking, whether you have a medical procedure or not, good luck. It's, do what's right for you. But we're having a bit of a debate about with some of my mates, and they're like, you're telling me the government's bad, you're telling me the government's corrupt. I'm like, yes, you should be questioning it, right? They're like, no, they would never do it. It's because people hold on to this system, and then, they want to be in servitude to it. And my mate said to me, Nathan, if it's true, he goes, all this stuff you say is pretty crazy, but on The Simpsons, they show certain things like where Donald Trump's going up a lift, and, that's, how did that happen? And, the thing is that these are predictive programming that were being put in. And only the other day, I never watch TV. I don't watch any series on TV or that. But I was sitting with someone, and someone was watching this TV show, which was, it's like a murder show where they cut up people, and there's something on Netflix. It was some killer show, and totally random. They're going to some birthday party for some kids, and they start talking about the topics, right? They talk about topics of health, and I'm trying to find the words of how to say it without being censored here, but they're talking about the topics of health, they're talking about medical procedures, they're talking about jabs, they're talking about people that can't go out into society if they don't do a certain thing to their body. And I was like, hang on a second, why is this being, I thought it shows about people killing things. Like, why have we got this programming into all of it? And I realized that the same people that own certain, medical companies own media companies. The same people that own those media companies own large food outlets, and they own supply chains, and they own basically everything. Really, if you break it down, there's probably about 150 to 160 companies which control everything throughout the world, everything from the streaming of the electricity coming through your house, through to your internet that's being provided to you, through the TV that's being put in your house, through to the food that you're putting in yourself, and everything at the food shop is provided via the same company. So we're living in a corporate world where everything is controlled, and it's a very, very centrally controlled system. And when you control centrally, once you have a centrally controlled system, that is a tenet of communism, because you are then being controlled, but you don't even realize it. So all I ask for people to do is just to question a little bit more. If you're happy with your life, great. But if if you're questioning, if you're like Jim Carrey on what's that show, where is the Truman Show, right? If you feel like in the Truman Show, go out a little bit, go and explore, go and see. You will see the glitches in the matrix. You will see the predictive programming. I was talking to one of my mates last night. We're going for a drive, and he was watching YouTube videos. I kept directing him. I was like, let's go and look at all the top 40 videos that have been throughout history, and they all have certain like headgear on, masks on, clothing colours they wear, whites, blacks, golds, different sort of shapes that are put in there. And it's like, how come it's like we're under a trance? It's like we're stuck and we're trapped via this programming that's completely around us. And I think over the course of 2020, 2021 and into the future, we're seeing this come down further and further and suppressing humanity. Every time we turn on the news, there's conflicting stories. They're trying to build hate. They're trying to build divide. People say, oh, Nathan, the world's turning into a bad place. Is it the world that's turning into a bad place, or is it that you are becoming consciously aware of how fucked up things really are out there, right? Think about that one. So I don't think the world's turning into a bad place. I think that, a lot of people's freedoms are being taken away, and I think that some people's lives are going to be a lot worse than what they were previously. But there's things that you can do to protect yourself. There's things that you can do to plan. And if you're consciously starting to see the things around you that aren't looking right, you can make directions in order to be, living yourself in your best life, taking more control of yourself. And that's what some of the things I want to talk about here today are. So I see news articles, I dissect them, I see what I see the programming in it, I see how they're trying to, control us, and I see, the glitches in the matrix. And I realized this about 4 or 5 years ago. I've been in the media over 100 times. I've been on TV. I've been on all different, every single mainstream media platform. When I've spoken out, they like to slap me across the back of the head and an unforeseen hand comes out. And, you can take part in that. You don't have to take part in it. And I just see the media for what it is, and it's all a stage. If it's not a stage, how come all the politicians are reading from the script, all the teachers are reading from the script, doctors are reading from the script, and we've got the whole world is reading from a script or a teleprompter? Do you think that when you're watching something on the TV, you go, oh, this TV host understands everything? No, there's production crews that put together everything. There's a script, and they read from a teleprompter, and they read word for word what's coming down the script as they're talking to you. They're an actor. And I've seen this. I've seen it firsthand. I've been a part of it. And it's like, I see it and I'm like, people can live a better life by not being brainwashed via that system. So some of the things that I'm seeing out there today, which we spoke about beforehand, like I've got this service which I put out about 4 or 5 years ago. It's actually 3 years ago. It went live to the public. It's called BirchFEED. You can get access to it. It's free to everybody. It doesn't even cost you anything. I do it just more for giggles, I build it for my mates. I'd send them all these articles and stuff, and I'd forget to send an article to one of my mates or whatever. So I made this channel before Telegram was popular, before anyone realized that their information was going to be censored. Birchy started BirchFEED, which is a feed in Telegram where you can go and see some of the things that I watch and I read and I see on a daily basis, and I share that information because I can see what's going to come after that information has been said, and I dissect that information and I throw it out there. So it's basically looking at the news, getting a different perspective of that news, seeing what the agenda of the news is, seeing the action that's happening, and is there a backhanded transaction happening or is there a left hook coming, and how that could impact your life and how to protect yourself. And a few years ago, people used to say to me, Birchy, are you a time traveler? It's like, these things before they happen. Like, where are you getting your sources of information from? Where are you getting the connections from? What is your consciousness? I just come up with this because I can see the hands that are being slid here behind the scenes. So when it comes from a financial perspective, if a lever's being pulled, we can see that if you're driving down the road and you steer the car a certain direction, you can see what trajectory that car's going to drive off into before it actually gets over there. So from an economics perspective, if you're seeing someone to the left or to the right, there's certain outcomes that would occur from natural things, whether it be inflation, deflation, hyperinflation, whether it means that people can't afford things, whether it means there could be a decline in our living standard and whatnot. And I like to think that I put out lots of great content out there, but I can't do commentary on everything, right? And that's where I listen to people, I see people that are very smart in their fields, and I'm like, hang on a second, that sounds really great and relevant, and I share it with my community. So if you want to be a part of it, join up. It's at birchfeed.com, birchfeed.com. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. No need to be a tight ass. If you're in there and you like it and you want to wake up your friends and your family and all that, I encourage you to share the link and get them to join up and just ask them questions, right? Whether it be to do with our food supply, whether it be to do with our energy, whether it be to do with our weather, whether it be to do with our financial system, whether it be to do with our media. There's lots of things that are questionable out there, and I think everyone should be questioning so they can make better arrangements in their own personal life. So one of the biggest things out there at the moment is I'm seeing, for example, there's some news articles out there, whether it be Lebanon has no electricity at the moment, China has no electricity, there's power shortages in the UK, in US and in Canada. How come all these countries don't have power? And they go, oh, because of Corona. And it's like, hang on a second, it's not to do with Corona. What is it really to do with? And then we look a little bit further, and they say the energy crisis to do with coal. There's not enough coal. There's heaps of coal, right? We're trying to get away from using coal. How come none of these electricity companies or energy companies have access to coal? Then we look at the coal perspective, and it's like they can't afford it, right? So we're now stuck at a point where we're going to see massive inflation. You're going to have to make the choice between, do we keep the lights on at home, or do we put the food in the baby's belly, or do we feed our family? They're the decisions that people will have to make because of manipulation of this currency system that we're in. So I just want to go from my perspective into the energy crisis that we're seeing at the moment, right? And I share this sort of stuff. I share the articles. I point the dots. I draw the dots in the BirchFEED. It's been 3 years. I'm really excited by it because so many people have been on this journey before shit started really getting bad out there, and seeing the signs and they're being able to plan and prepare and have a better position for themselves and for their family. But if we look at the energy crisis, if we have to buy coal, the coal price, if it's gone up 5 times for the cost of coal, that means that the electricity company that's selling the power needs to buy that coal. If the coal price has gone up by 5, that means that one of two things occur. One, the electricity company has to put up their electricity price by 5 times, or 2, the electricity company keeps their price at that price and they take on the coal to fuel their business at 5 times higher the cost. And then what happens is that the electricity company will go bankrupt. Right? So either the electricity company cuts back on the amount of coal that they're buying at the high prices, and then there's not enough power, or they get the coal and they have to pass it on. Either way, we're seeing breaks in the supply chain. So if we've got coal coming in that's higher, then the cost of the end good is going to go up in value. If Woolworths is getting some frozen goods that have been made in China or wherever the case may be, in India and Lebanon, wherever, and the cost of keeping the foods plugged in the power point go up in value, then they're going to have to charge more at the supermarket. Then if the person that's eating that food can't afford to pay for it, they need a pay rise. And if they're working for the shipping company, then we're going to see the cost of shipping go up. And at the moment, we're seeing the cost of shipping going up, we're seeing the cost of coal going up, we're seeing the cost of all these different commodities going up across the landscape. And ultimately, it's a part of the breakdown of the financial system, what we've got. And we saw this coming. We talked about it years ago. I put out heaps of information about it. I put YouTube videos out there. People go, where do you cite this information from? And it's like, I cite it and I put it into BirchFEED. So you can go to BirchFEED and check it out. There's 3 years worth of data there that I've been putting out to the public, and it's probably been going on for a year before that, just with my mates, some beta testing in there. So whether it be news articles about, electricity breakdown in supply chains, food crisis is out there, financial markets crashing, whether it be about interest rates falling. How did Nathan talk about interest rates that were falling 2 years, 3 years before they started to fall, and told the exact dates that they'd fall because it's been calculated from the amount of currency that's floating around in the system. There's information that's out there. You can either watch what you're being programmed to watch. You can take subliminal messages coming from, scripted, dialogued, untrustworthy organisations that are corrupt, trying to feed you into their own agenda, into more servitude, totalitarian, fascist, communist society. or you could, be creative, be free thinking, question things, see things as they happen, work out how it fits into the bigger picture, and then plan for it and be able to protect yourself, protect your family, and live a better life. And that life is to be lived on your terms. There's many different things. Like I could sit here and talk about population of Australia. We could sit there and talk about ways that they're going to stimulate the economy, next stimulus packages, next crises, whether they be from people not being able to eat, whether it be people not being able to drive their cars, whether it be the fact that people can't turn the lights on at home. They are all stemmed from different levers that are being pulled in the system. These are news articles that are coming out on a daily basis, and you can see that what's being turned now could have an impact down the track in 2, 3, 4 years' time, and that is where the fun is at. So, literally, as Sydney came out of lockdown, right, as of last Monday, like I'm filming this on, I think this is, what's the date, the 18th of October, you might listen to this in, mid-November, whatever the case may be. But as of last Monday was that Freedom Day, as they call it. Who would have thought everyone's freedom's been removed? But that's a different topic. But Freedom Day's come out, and then we've seen a whole pile of other changes out there. As soon as they stop the agenda of all these people who are carking it and all that sort of stuff, they start on, we've got a climate crisis. We must stop people eating meat. Why are they stopping us eating meat? Why are they trying to feed us some other sort of fake meat? Why are they pushing it up? It's because the cost of meat is going up. It's the cost of feeding the animals going up. The cost of distribution is going up. So they can make a substitute meat and get you eating their own product, a product that only they can make, not everyone else can make. And these are the corporations that are controlling us with vested interest to control your life. So there's a climate change out there, right? There's a lot of propaganda around the next stage we're at. We're at 2021, right? And a lot of people know about sort of agendas that are happening in 21, and they also think about agendas that might be happening in 2030. And, these are the sort of things that all play into the fabric of society and where we are going to, and how can you see their steps? How can we see what they're doing, and how can we prepare for our own personal lives? Looking at the propaganda out there, it is very, very, thick in the current market. Got a few little notes here. I think I've covered on a lot. I've covered off on a lot of them here today. How did BirchFEED come about? It was just, as I said beforehand, I was reading these articles, I was sharing with my mates, they got a lot of value in it. I'd send it to other mates and be like, wow, that's cool. It's just one streamlined place. And I share that with everybody out there as I see it. It's uncensored. We're going to the internet now. You make a post on YouTube, you make a post on Facebook, you make a post on any of your social media channels out there, you'll be censored, you'll be thrown into Facebook jail for a week or two, and you will, not be able to have freedom of speech. I decided way before we saw censorship out there, I knew we were going to see censorship. Now we've got these fact checkers and all that sort of stuff. I could see this being something that would occur, and I thought, well, way before we see this happen, let's put it all into one little place. And that's why I put in the Telegram. It's a Telegram channel. It's BirchFEED. You can go get it from birchfeed.com, get access to it. So just go to the website and become a part of the community where you can, see things that are uncensored. I don't need to watch out what I say in there. I don't have to watch out and be careful of someone banning me in there because no one can ban it for me. So, looking at how it's changed. It started off with like 10 people in there, 20 people in there. I think when we launched it, it had about 100 people came into it. And over the course of the last 2 years, we're up to about 1,500. It is a very closed loop community, which, if you want to get it. If you don't do it. I do put a little disclaimer on there. I do send messages out and do send tweets out any time of the day, whether it be midnight, whether it be 2 o'clock in the morning, whether it be 5 o'clock in the morning. So just beware. Sometimes you'll get random messages at different times. They say ignorance is not bliss. I think it was Martin Luther King that said nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and consciousness stupidity. So, at this point in time, we've got so many things that were being censored. We're getting the veil that's pulled over our face, and it's very, very scary times for a lot of people. And being prepared, arming yourself. Imagine going into a fight or going into a war and not knowing your component. At least having an understanding of what your enemy is, who your enemy is, and how to protect yourself, how to combat yourself, and how to be able to survive and become a better person out the other side. And that's not trying to sound all doom and gloom, doomsayer, or conspiracy theorist, or having a tinfoil hat. It's being alert. It's about being conscious. It's being aware to the surroundings, the things that are coming at us, so we can, protect ourselves and live life on our terms. So, looking at, I say it's history before it happens, but those that can't learn from history are doomed to be, to repeat it. So, with it. You will never see the truth coming out in the media. I will tell you that. I've been in the media. I've had a lot of time and exposure in the media. You will see their agenda. You will not see someone out there and be allowed to be on the TV and say the economy is not well because of what the central banks are doing. You will not see someone out there saying it's because of certain interests and certain powers of people that are controlling us, right? That has caused it. You will see, for example, you would see Nathan on TV, and I would be there 5 years ago saying, hey guys and girls, I've just bought this property, I paid this amount of money for it, this is what it's worth, whatever. They package me up and make me look like the dumb guy from Western Sydney that has got the ability to buy a couple of properties, and if I can do it, so can you. They'll make me look good, they'll make me look bad, they'll make the baby boomer look bad, the greedy person that worked 40 years of their life, that bought a house, and now they can't, that's all they can afford, that's what they've got, it's retirement, and then someone is set out to attack them. They're doing it to divide and conquer. It doesn't matter if it's to do with religion, whether it's to do from a spirituality perspective, whether it's to do with a colour of your skin perspective. They will try to divide and conquer, humanity. So you need to look at it and question as to who the agenda is. For me, I'll tell you straight out, it's the central banks. The only reason why we've got growth in our property market, the only reason why we've got growth in any markets is because they keep printing money. People think the government works for them. The government is middle management, right? And there's a lot more superpowers way above government. If you think government is the top of the food chain, you're going to be trapped in that food chain, and they're the ones that are controlling you. But the system is far greater, deeper, and more uglier than what most people would ever believe in, and it's trying to see those sort of things that are there and bring it to light. So looking at what BirchFEED does, we're there to show you news articles and alternative media outlets to sort of look at, analyze, and dissect what is happening in our world today, and what to expect and what to plan for and how to protect yourself moving forward. I have never been more excited than the world that I see in front of me. The question I ask for everybody else is, are you excited? If you're not, why aren't you excited? And what is it that's keeping you? It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and what is suppressing you from that? And if you're fearful about something, then you're being controlled from your oppressor. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to leave it at that because that's the most important part of it, right? If you're fearful of the world that you're living in, you need to think about what you're fearful of, because that is what has control over you. That's what's suppressing you, and you need to overcome that. So hopefully BirchFEED may be able to help you with some of that knowledge and be able to point you into the right direction to be able to have more knowledge on and more questionable about the world that we're living in, that we're trapped in. It is ugly out there. I feel so bad by the fact that people have been lied to, controlled, and are being pressured in a certain ways that they are being pressured today. So that's why I wanted to make BirchFEED free. It used to be $1 a day. I thought, cool, everyone can pay $1, don't be a cheap ass, spend $1 for it, but it is free. I just made it free because I'm like, so many people need to get access to this information, and the more that I put out there that's good stuff and people can benefit from, then people will want to be a part of that community, and we'll learn and grow together. So I'm just going to leave it at that. If you want access to it, birchfeed.com. That's it. BirchFEED.com. Go check it out. And as always, if you like these podcasts, give us a like, share it around. You can subscribe to us at Apple, Google, and Spotify, and also on YouTube and other platforms. So appreciate it. We'll be back next Tuesday. Keep being awesome. Catch up soon. Bye for now.
Like Bilal said, man, we're stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar back to die soon known to be hyperinflated. This my 2 cents, don't care if you save it. Joint be decentralized and you will see you been lied to the whole time, and it's the irony, cause they do the exact opposite. You become a slave to the system, enough your money, all they do is profit. There's no conspiracy theory, you better hear me. Crypto will set you free before the system does. I don't care if you do or you don't, but what I'm saying is the truth to the reason you choke. I never been a failure, excuse my behavior. Keep talking, haters doing me a favor. They all tell lies, I know what they been telling you. I'm the opposite, the Donald Trump of Australia. It's amazing, here for the taking. My time is never wasted, just getting wasted. These girls say I'm really breathtaking. I can't